Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Tuesday. That means Buddy Martin will join us here shortly. Second portion of the show today, we're going to have former Gator football player, Super Bowl champion, Trey Burton join us on the program. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and head on down to Ocala and talk to our good friend, old Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. I know you've been battling the gremlins today in this technology one. It'll get you, but we'll get through this. And I'm looking forward to having a chance to hear and see a guy I saw play in Venice High School when I was in Charlotte County. Trey Burton, one of the most underrated Gator players we ever had. Remember, he was a quarterback we once played, and he's a terrific high school player, and he's had quite a career, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player, no doubt. Could do a lot of different things, and we'll talk a little bit about his career and if he plans to go back with the Colts and all those good things. But in the meantime, buddy, lost a lot of famous folks here recently. 2020 and 2021 just ain't getting any better.
You know, if you go through the list, you know how they do the Academy Awards every year. My wife always watches it. I watch how long they have that long list of people you lost. This year's going to take a while because they keep dropping like flies, and it's just a generation above me a little bit. So it hits me a little harder because these are people that I've followed for a long time. But last week we lost two giants, and one of them was personal to me because my father was a huge fan of Larry King's. And I met Larry King once when I was with Terry Bradshaw, and I watched him. He changed the way talk shows were done. And then Hank Aaron. I just had a brief interlude with Hank when I was covering his home run chase. He's such a dignified man and did so much, and I have a high regard for him. And I know he'd been out of the limelight for a while, but I felt a sense of loss this past week like I haven't in a long time, although we keep losing people like Alex Trebek, et cetera. So these are tough times when you see these icons just dropping like that.
Yeah, you know, I used to have a couple things signed. I used to have a ton of memorabilia, and I had a bunch of stuff signed by Hank Aaron. And I don't know if it's in boxes or where it is. I can't find it, but I'm going to have to check it out. And see if I can find
don't you hate that? Where's your stuff, man? I got stuff everywhere I'm looking for it. I got it in storage units all over you can see it back in my office. And I know you're a big memorabilia guy. You probably got a collection worth a lot of money. You never know.
That is true. I got stuff stuffed in closets, boxes, you name it. I got it. Buddy, before we get to Gator basketball, we got some news I think broke yesterday. Trask isn't going to play in the Senior Bowl. Were you a little surprised about that?
I am a little bit. I don't know. Obviously, that must be his agent talking. I don't know exactly why. But I'm sure it's not because he doesn't want to play, because when they tee it up, he's always there. So I don't quite understand the strategy here of this. It's beyond my pay grade to figure it out. But I'll never complain about Kyle Trask. He gave us plenty. If that's his decision, then he must feel pretty good about his chances, or his agent does, about his draft position.
Yeah, I don't know what to read into it. I heard some about an ankle injury or
really?
What
okay,
have you.
I didn't hear about that. I didn't know.
Yeah, and but I don't know. I personally think Kyle needs. I made a mistake not playing in the Senior Bowl.
Why did you not play, Shane? Why didn't you play?
I was told that I didn't need to play. I played in the Japan Bowl, which Coach Spurrier was the coach of that team, and
right.
I played in the Hula Bowl.
Right.
So I declined and turned down a chance to play in the Senior Bowl, which, not getting drafted probably hurt me not being there practicing among all the scouts and coaches and stuff. So, things have changed a lot. But Kyle, I think I saw. He's slated to be the 6th quarterback taken.
Does that put him second round someplace?
I would think second. Yeah, probably second, mid-second. So we'll see. I think it all depends on who's picking. And Dan says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law, his ankle is hurt. I don't know if he hurt his ankle training. I know he's out in California training. But anyway.
Well, he might have hurt it in the last game. Maybe that's why we didn't see him again.
Possibly. So anyway, I think things we'll see where he gets drafted. But like I said, the so-called experts say he'll be the 6th quarterback drafted.
Can I just say one quick word about him? And I want to talk right about this week. In a winter of discontent, at a time when we were really having a rough go, and the season, of course, fell apart at the end somewhat. But Kyle Trask gave us a great 2 years, something to hang your hats on. And he didn't win the Heisman. He could have won the Heisman. But what he gave to Gator fans, I will be eternally grateful for, and I think most Gator fans will be.
No question about it. Well, buddy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. I'm a little surprised. I really thought Green Bay was going to win that game. I think some coaching decisions. LaFleur will probably not be able to sleep for a long, long time.
He shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but he's a heck of a football coach. His record speaks for himself, but he made a bad choice there.
What was the thinking there? I mean, we could all do the math, all right? And tonight on this, I'll ask you to explain in detail, but I'm just curious what you thought.
Well, his thinking was thinking like a defensive-minded head coach. When you got 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, so you got 4 ways to stop the clock. Mm-hmm. If you trust your defense to get you the ball back, that's a good plan. But he's an offensive guy. That's what surprised me. Because even if you go for it on 4th and 8 from the 8-yard line and you miss it, you still got your 4 ways to stop the clock, but the team is backed up on their own 8-yard line.
Right, exactly.
Play calling changes from an offensive standpoint.
Great point.
And plus, you got the MVP as your quarterback.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. The Tom Brady deal is a great story, but Tom didn't play very well.
Didn't play well at all.
He played okay in the first half, but the Buccaneers won that game because of their defensive line.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Now, it hurt having an all-pro left tackle, or maybe he's the right tackle. I can't pronounce his name. But he was injured, hasn't played. He blew his knee out a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
That caused a lot of problems for the Packers as pass protection. And that's what concerns me from a Chiefs standpoint, is because they just lost their all-pro left tackle to an Achilles. Mm-hmm. So now Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are still the same guy.
No, they're not. We're going to have this argument forever. I checked you out with HBC on that too, just so you know. I mean, they're very similar, but they're not the same guy. And one of the great things about Mahomes is his scramblability is better than Rodgers. I know Rodgers can move around the pocket, but Mahomes is like, boop, 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 boop. He could probably survive the left tackle situation because of quickness.
Well, because he's younger, but Aaron Rodgers, he could have scored. He usually runs. He didn't run the other day.
Why didn't he run that ball in?
I don't know, but both of them have the most unique and powerful arms I've ever seen, and that's why what Brady's done, his 10th Super Bowl. Buddy, I'm gonna go on the record today. What is today? The 26th. Mm-hmm. I believe Patrick Mahomes will go to more Super Bowls.
All right, let me write it down right now.
Write it down. We may not be around. We may not be around long enough to see it.
But Patrick,
but think about it, buddy.
Okay,
this is his 3rd year starting.
Yep.
Okay. His first year starting, they lost in overtime to the Patriots, if you don't remember, where he could be 3 for 3 in Super Bowl, going to Super Bowls right now.
Well, you know what else he is?
What?
I'm sorry.
What's that?
This is his 3rd decade of playing in the Super Bowl. Third decade.
I'm talking about Pat Mahomes.
Oh, I thought you meant Brady. I mean,
no. This is the third year that Patrick Mahomes has been a starter.
I got
you. Lost. Mm-hmm. He lost in the AFC Championship game in overtime to Brady, or he would have been in 3 straight Super Bowls his first 3 years as a starter.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and trust me, he's going to be there every year. He is that good. He is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen, and he is fun to watch.
He's that, and even with a bad wheel, he was pretty darn good, you know. And the guy is fun to watch. You're right. He looks like a walking video game. I'm just amazed how he gets the ball out so accurately. I mean, he's falling down backwards. He gets the ball accurately, and his receivers know where he's going to be watching, because when they're scrambling, he's going to find them. He's an amazing player. I'm telling you. I didn't see him in college. I mean, I don't think I saw him play once in college. I thought, who is this guy? Well, we found out the last 3 years.
Well, you know what's interesting, buddy? If you look at the four quarterbacks that played Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
I bet hardly anybody in the country saw any of those kids play college football.
Good point.
Brady hardly played at all.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers he was at JUCO, then played a little bit at Cal.
Yeah.
Nobody watched Pat Mahomes because he was in and out of the lineup at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be dang, ain't nobody watching Wyoming play football.
Oh, boy, I like him a lot too, Josh Allen.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I did see, by the way, just so you know, I have watched Wyoming football. I lived out there, and I actually been up there. But didn't watch it this past couple of years. No, you're right.
But your average college football fan doesn't tune in to watch the Wyoming Cowboys play.
No doubt about it.
You know, it's amazing. It's like I said, these NFL dudes, these scouts and people, they find players no matter what school you play at.
Yeah.
But it should be. I mean, Tampa. I mean, think about the city of Tampa. It's a shame that we're in this pandemic because they win the Stanley Cup, they lose in the World Series, and now the Bucks are playing.
They won the pennant. They won the pennant. So give them that.
And now the Bucks are playing their own stadium, and
it's amazing.
I think they're going to allow 20,000 in. About 8,000 are going to be
healthcare workers.
Workers.
Yeah.
And then usually the teams that go to the Super Bowl don't get opportunities to buy tickets. They go to corporate people. So I don't know. It's a shame. The 1 year the Bucks can go celebrate in their own ballpark, it won't be packed.
Isn't it though? I heard one number. You hear them all last night on like Channel 6. Someplace said that there were up nosebleed tickets going for 9,000 apiece. 9,000.
Yeah, that surprised me. Doesn't surprise me at all.
So but boy, what a good story. I mean, the Bucks are, and one thing, and I love this. I'm gonna write about it tonight for Gatorbait this week. These things they really save us in a tough year, tough times. You know, we need sports for things like this. It takes our mind off our misery, doesn't it? To have a team like the Bucks, locally winning, to have the Gators up until the end. For guys like Kyle Trask, it really does help you get through the tough times, and and you're right. What a shame the Bucks finally host the Super Bowl in Tampa, and they can't get anybody in the ballpark.
Yeah, refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from WrapSpot. January is your lucky month at WrapSpot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. We're speaking with Buddy Martin here on the Titan MR Highline. I want to remind y'all to go to potupwithshane.com. And we're going to do the drawing for the Fish Harder hat or the Chomp Harder hat. Make sure you go sign up for that. And also, we're signing up to give away one of these COVID-19 survival protection kits from G-Tech Sports. So go to potupwithshane.com and we will draw a name here, maybe tomorrow or Thursday. I can't remember what day our marketing folks have us doing that. Natasha says here on the Facebook Live, brought to you by Melvin Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. The lowest ticket they saw was $15K now.
Wow.
So here's what's interesting, and I'm gonna actually ask Trey Burton this because usually the Super Bowl is made up of corporate tickets, and then each NFL player has the opportunity to buy 2 tickets. I'm curious if they even allowed the other players to buy tickets this year, since there's not that many people going to be in the stadium. So I'll ask Trey what he thought.
I bet you I know who will get some tickets. Tom Brady.
Well, he's only going to get, I think you get 8 tickets if you're in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and then again, Brady usually probably has a box there, but since this is not a home game, I don't know if he'll be able to use that box.
I'm sure he won't, but he'll find somebody else who's got tickets, I'm sure, and buy his fellow players tickets from them, if nothing else.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting about all that. Now, buddy, let's move to Gator basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. Gator basketball had 2 good wins last week. They play tomorrow night against Vanderbilt, and then we have that SEC Big 12 Challenge this weekend where the Gators draw West Virginia, very good basketball team, coached by Bob Huggins. I want to ask you this, buddy. I don't know. I've kind of been out of the loop recently. Scotty Lewis has missed several games.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's scheduled to be back this week.
I don't think so. I don't think so that I know of.
But what do you do if you're Mike White? Because this team plays better without Scotty Lewis right now.
You know, it's funny how that works. And you know this. You've been around teams all your life. And I've seen this happen many times when a star player can't play or somebody can't play. And someone finally says, well, it's on me now. Let me go do this. I've seen some things that I really like about this basketball team. I mean, Shane, to beat the number 6 team in the country by 26 points is amazing. And the scoring that they had against Georgia was so good. And one big thing happened against Georgia. Trey Mann became a ball player. I mean, he's a guy I've followed since he was in the villages and going to charter school down there and have known him since then. I always had high expectations, but he never quite stepped it up. He was a man against the Bulldogs. He scored 26. He was dishing the ball. He was really playing well. And then you get guys like Noah Locke hitting his threes. You get that combination. They run the floor. You've got the House of Pain, as they call it. You know, their bigs are playing great. And if you heard the game at all, you heard Dan Dakich say right in the middle of the whole game, this looks like a tournament team to me. Hey, listen, they just got the crap beat out of them by Kentucky not long ago, and something happened to this team. And that was one of the most amazing weeks of Gator basketball I could remember in a long time, to whack 2 good teams like that, especially beating Tennessee. I don't know if that was an aberration. I don't know what will happen in Knoxville, but that night we saw what they can do. And you're right. What does Mike White do now?
Yeah, you know, and again, the last 2 games that we've played well, you know what's happened, buddy? The ball's gone in the basket. When you score, it makes things a lot better. But yes,
usually does, yeah.
John says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, Keontae put on his Instagram story, free me, but surely he is done for the year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with all that. But I'm anxious to see if Scotty Lewis is cleared to play. And I assume he has COVID. I haven't heard anything. Because I know a bunch of the players had COVID this summer. Maybe he didn't get it. We'll see what happens there. But I'm going to read while we're talking basketball real quick. Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. This month, get a free annual maintenance plan with every residential duct cleaning. Purchase $199 value. Service departments open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So this day in sports, basketball related, Houston guard Vernon Maxwell becomes the 5th player in NBA history to score 30 points in a quarter in a Rockets 103-97 home win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. He joined Wilt Chamberlain, David Thompson, George Gervin, and Michael Jordan, scoring 30 in a quarter. And somebody may have done it since then, but that happened in 1991. Speaking of Gator basketball, Vernon Maxwell.
Well, let me give you a Vernon Maxwell story. I'm going to have the guy on who told me this. I won't reveal who it is. It's believed that Vernon Maxwell made the first 3-point shot made in college basketball.
Say that again?
Vernon Maxwell, according to my source who knows his basketball really well and saw it, says Vernon Maxwell at Florida made the first 3-point shot ever made in college basketball.
Really?
That's what I'm told.
When did they put the 3-point line in?
I'd have to go back and look at my years, but I mean, it was during the time he was playing.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's never been written or talked about. I'm going to research it. I'm going to get a guy on my show and talk about it. I'll let you know. But that's a piece of history right there.
Yeah, that is. That is. If it's true, no question about it. So, buddy, before we let you go here, and we got a few more minutes with you, have you talked to your old partner, Urban Meyer, since he's actually officially the head football coach of the Jags?
Well, you know, the answer is no, but I did text with him, and I left him alone during that week because I knew he had a lot of things going on. We were scheduled to do our 23rd straight podcast, which we've done every week. And then that week, I just kind of knew that I wasn't going to get him. And so I didn't hear from him. And I wrote him back a note saying, hey, look, if you're done, you're done. But if you promised me pretty much that if we just left this alone, that you would do one more with me. He said, I could probably do it next week, which is this week. So we're scheduled to have him one more time, either this week or next, depending on what it may be. But I really appreciate Urban being really true to that. He stayed to that every week, and he was good every week for 30, 45 minutes, and I really enjoyed the podcast, and he was very, very good. So I wish him all the luck in the world. I don't know anything that's going on up there. I didn't even know he was going to take the job. I quite frankly would have leaned against him taking it up until the last 2 weeks, and whatever changed, I don't know, but I hope to find that out when I talk to him.
Is it official that did Charlie Strong is he going to the Jaguars?
Not official yet that I know of. That's what everybody's saying. I talked to Frank Frangie, your friend of mine, last week about it. He believes it will happen, but I don't know about Charlie. I heard, number one, a good friend of his told me he liked Tuscaloosa. He was staying there. We heard all kinds of stories about him leaving, and now we've heard he's going to go to the Jaguars. So I don't know what to think.
Okay, we got loyal listeners here on Facebook Live. Brought to you by Melton Law. Fred says Ronnie Carr of Western Carolina in 1990 hit the college basketball's first three-pointer against Middle Tennessee State.
Well, we'll see, because the guy who told me this calls Gator basketball and says he saw it with his own eyes. So I'm anxious to find out.
Okay.
Ronnie Carr.
He says Ronnie Carr of Western Carolina.
Uh-huh.
So you got a research project now, buddy.
Well, I think he might have hit his the same night, but a little later, I think. So we'll see. He's giving credit. But anyway, I'll have that information for you. We'll get the scoopage down here, let you know, keep you informed.
Oh, wow. Sandy says here on Facebook Live that today is 1 year ago is when we lost Kobe Bryant.
Wow.
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't either. Talk about icons.
Oh, it's horrible to even think about.
It is. I mean, we have had we've lost so many great athletes and showbiz people and on and on and on. It just takes a part of you when they go. You think, man, I'm so used to watching Kobe. I'm so used to watching Alex Trebek. I'm so used to all these things. And one day they're not there. They're gone.
So now we got Terry here on Facebook Live who chimes in and says the three-point shot was instituted in 1986. So down here, Fred said Ronnie Carr hit the first three-pointer in 1980. So, buddy, you got a nice science fair project.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with this guy who follows basketball, and you know him. He's smart. He said he was there. He saw it. He believes that to be true. So I'm going to go with him, and I'll let you know, all right? I'll keep you informed. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm just telling you what someone told me, and someone you trust, whatever. We'll find out. It's interesting, though. Boy, sure has changed basketball, hasn't it? Man.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Donovan sure took advantage of it, and Kentucky's taking advantage of it. So smart people. And I tell you what, when Noah Locke's hitting his threes, and the bigs are running the floor like they are now, this basketball team, you only got to be good for 6 weeks,
Yeah. Before we got a few more minutes, buddy, but back to Urban and the Jaguars. I think Urban's going to be really good there. The reason I say that is because to be successful, you got to have a top-notch guy behind center. And I think Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback. And he's going to have his ups and downs, but I think the talent level is ridiculous. And you've got to have that signal caller to win at that level.
No doubt.
And I think Matthew Stafford is one of the most talented NFL quarterbacks I've ever seen that has been wasted. I hope a good organization utilizes his ability. He's only 32 years old, so he's still got plenty of time. But he's a guy that can freaking play. And they need to find him. He needs to find a good organization, good offense to go play in, because I hate seeing these good quarterbacks be wasted.
Well, that's and by the way, you bring up a good point. 4 really good ones. A lot of them you never heard of till they got in the pros. But you're right. The QB. I remember when Ray Perkins went to Tampa, and I used to know Ray pretty well. And we talked about he said, I got to find the trigger man someplace. He thought Vinny Testaverde was going to be it. That wasn't necessarily the trigger man. But you're right. Today's offense, you know this, Shane. You played for 14 years. If you don't have the QB, you ain't going to get there. The days of winning with even Bart Starrs, is what a great player he was. Don't get me wrong, but you got to be able to fling the ball around the yard, and a guy who can improvise and whatever you call it, RPOs, whatever. It's a changed game. I don't even recognize it. And I see a guy like Mahomes. I can't believe that guy is that good. He's just incredible.
He's the most talented guy I've ever seen, buddy. And I seriously think the Chiefs have a chance to go to the Super Bowl every stinking year from here on out. Because
I'm glad for Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid deserves that. He's a good coach, and he got kind of hosed in Philadelphia, so I'm glad for him. But boy, the Bucs are going to be fun. Tell me, and I'll ask you this tonight. I didn't quite understand the strategy when they threw the ball in the dirt. I understand the field goal when you got a guy like Tom Brady, you're sitting there, and you say, well, we're just going to give it up and we're going to throw the ball in the dirt on third down and we're going to take the field goal. It wasn't a gimme field goal. Suckup had to make a 46-yarder there to do that. So I don't understand that strategy. I don't understand the second down. I think they threw the ball deep on second down. Only needed 3 yards.
You're talking about the third down when Brady just threw the ball away?
Yes.
Well, I want to say they had a screen set up. I'm not 100% sure, but Brady knew how important that down was. He could not take a sack no matter what. So he was protecting the field goal to get the 3 points and get an 8-point lead.
I get it, but was that a gimme? No.
Well, you never know with the kickers in Lambeau Field. You never know from a footing standpoint, wind, or what have you. So I had no problem with that because Brady was playing smart. He knew he couldn't risk holding that ball at all. But I think they had a screen set up the way he threw it.
Well, he had pressure there, and I guess he was worried about not getting the ball off. What last question is that what was he thinking in those two little tosses, those shot put throws he made there? One was a horrible throw, threw it to the wrong shoulder. He made 2 bad throws to interceptions.
Well, he threw 3 interceptions on 3 straight drives.
One of them wasn't his fault. That was a tip ball. He threw it high.
That ball was so high. That drives me crazy. Mike Evans had 0 chance of catching that ball.
I get it. But
that was his fault. Yeah. He threw a high ball. All 3 interceptions were bad throws.
Okay.
The one, Fournette went the wrong direction. He had a play fake. Anytime your responsibilities, if you're a running back and your responsibilities are certain linebackers blitzing, you abort any play fake and go to your responsibility. Fournette went left, then saw his responsibility right and got there too late. Brady kind of got hit. That one's kind of maybe on Fournette, but Brady didn't play great.
No, he didn't.
And I'm not going to sit here because, he's the greatest of all time. There's no question. Yeah. But the reason the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game was their defense and their pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And obviously, they didn't have their starting left tackle in that game, but it is what it is. And it's awesome that the Bucs have a chance to win it in their own ballpark. I don't think they can beat the Chiefs, but I didn't think they could beat the Packers either.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that for sure. Well, we'll see what happens, but good story, really good story there. Like I said, Titletown, here we come. Tampa, who thought, just good to have all that action down there.
Yeah, and buddy, I got a special show tomorrow. I got the first 2 African-American football players, Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr.
That's great.
They're putting together an endowment in their names with the university that our listeners can give $1. You can give $5, $20, as much as you want to this endowment to honor the first 2 African-American players here at the University of Florida.
That's a great project.
We'll have a full show on that tomorrow.
Well, that's great. And I was there when they came aboard, and, a guy who was their good friend, you can ask him, Carlos Alvarez helped shepherd them, and he was their buddy. He took them under his wing, and he has a great affection for both those players. And that was a big deal. And both of those guys are quality people, and I'm glad that you're doing that. I can't wait to see the show tomorrow.
Yep, and Wayne Fields, former player, he'll be kind of the narrator for that whole deal. But
good man.
It's something that, gosh, being the first of something is always very unique. And these 2 guys obviously need something in their name, and a lot of players, former players, have put this endowment together, and should be a cool show.
Good for the players. Who was that group? Was that Feinberg? Who was that group?
It was, I think Pizza Bill had something to do with it, but Jimmy DeBose, Lee McGriff, that whole back in those days. So
I'm glad to see that. That's a good way to celebrate Gator football. I love that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, buddy. We'll see you tonight, my man.
All right, get your board up. I want you to draw that play up for me and explain it to me tonight, all right?
Which play?
The ones throwing the ball in the dirt. I can't get over that.
Okay.
It's
All right.
crazy. I understand the strategy, but it just bothers me. The best quarterback in the game, probably. Well, second best.
Well, he just threw 3 straight interceptions too.
I get it, but it's just something didn't look right to me, Shane. I'm sorry.
All right, buddy. Take care, man.
Bye. Thanks.
Hey, folks, let me tell you about G-Tech Clean, one of our new sponsors, Complete Germ Protection.
G-Tech Clean is your complete germ protection. It's EPA approved to kill COVID-19 and kills 99.9% of all germs and viruses, black mold, and also deodorizes. It's the safest, affordable way to clean and sanitize your business, no matter if it's a gym, school, retail store, or office. Use it in your home anywhere from the bathroom to the kids' room. It's formulated to provide 24/7 protection and is over 30 times more durable than any other cleaners. Try G-Tech at home as well.
G-Tech Clean, I use this to keep my pot-up studio clean of any germs, viruses, and COVID-19 issues, and so should you. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back with Trey Burton.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Ribs, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Celebration Point's where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Nike, Sensei, Prime and Pearl, and opening soon, Dave & Buster's, and coming spring of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by Gator great old number 8. Trey Burton. Good morning, Trey. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, bro. You doing good?
Doing good, man. Hey, appreciate you taking the time to join us. When I bring former players on, I like to go back to their younger days. You grew up down in Venice.
Yeah.
I think you were a Venice Indian, right? Aren't they the Indians?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You were a dual threat quarterback, and you decided to come play for Urban Meyer. But first, what other schools were you looking at, or did you always want to be a Gator?
You know, honestly, I was pretty decent at basketball as well. And so in my mind, whatever sport Florida offered me in, that's what I was going to go play. And so they offered me my sophomore year. And so I committed on the spot. I knew that was where I was going to go. And so there really wasn't much other options for me.
So, you were a quarterback in high school. You come to the University of Florida, as I said, for Coach Meyer. You obviously grew up watching Tebow and what he did at the quarterback position. Did you always want to play quarterback in college? Because you were kind of that guy that played a little bit of everything. But your plan going in, did you want to be the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you know, if you get to touch the ball every single play, you get to have the most impact on the game playing the quarterback position. So I knew I wanted to be it. But once I got to college, I realized pretty fast that I didn't have the arm talent to make it to the league. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why we switched to doing what we do now.
When you look back at your career, how difficult was it with the coaching change? Because you were here for the Urban Meyer, Will Muschamp tenures. Was that difficult on you guys as players?
No question. I mean, I think after Urban's last year, which was my freshman year, they brought in Charlie Weiss to be the offensive coordinator. And as you know, he runs a completely different style offense. So you have all these recruits that are, more spread, speed, whereas Charlie wants to line up in the eye and the power eye and just run power or counter and stuff like that. So we didn't, number one, have the kids, the players for that, but then also like no one wanted to play fullback. No one wanted to, do the smash mouth type ball because we all were recruited to, spread it out and catch the ball and run fast.
When you look back at your Gator career, what's the one moment that stands out the most in your mind that just the best experience?
Like on the football field?
On the football field, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I think my freshman year, I scored 6 touchdowns. That was probably the most memorable. We also beat Georgia that year. So that was, I never lost to Tennessee. So beating Tennessee at all 4 years is really, there's just so many. You can't, you know how it is, man. Like, I'm sure you have a ton of memories. It's hard to just say one, but I guess I would say the 6 touchdowns against Kentucky.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was unbelievable. They could not stop. Even though they knew it was coming, they couldn't stop.
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy. When you talking about Tennessee and Georgia, was there one opponent that you enjoyed playing against the most?
Tennessee for sure, just because they were kind of down during those times. There was one year where they were ranked, and we played a game day game in Knoxville, which was fun. But I always loved going against Georgia. I felt like Georgia and LSU was probably the best competition that you would play yearly. I think I played Alabama twice, and they were just so stacked. But consistently you're going to play Georgia, you're going to play LSU, and those are probably the most fun games.
I got a text here on the Titan Mark text line. It comes from Larry. Larry wants to know, Trey, what was the hardest you were ever hit in college?
I don't know if I ever got really hit hard in college. I know I hit somebody really hard, and I didn't really necessarily mean to. I hit them right in their kneecap, and it kind of messed me up a little bit. But I don't think I ever necessarily got smoked in college. I got hit in high school. I was playing gunner one time, and I got cracked back because I didn't have my head on the swivel. But I think after that, I learned to make sure I know what the heck's around me so I can keep my head on the swivel.
When you go back to your college days, when you were playing slot receiver, tight end, you go back and play Wildcat, whatever it was. I probably know the answer to this. Did you have a favorite in those positions?
Wildcat, for sure.
That's what I thought. Because you get the ball in your hands.
Yeah, you do. You get the ball in your hands. I did enjoy playing slot receiver. It was definitely a challenge for me because I had never really ran routes before. I could catch, being a quarterback, you gotta be able to catch, but it's a different type of catching when you're running full speed and you feel like your head's shaking, but it's not. You're just running full speed, and so that was definitely an adjustment, but I enjoyed that.
So Trey, you and I got something in common. Neither one of us were drafted. And tell me what your mindset was, because I wouldn't say devastated, but I was supposed to be the 3rd quarterback taken when I came out in 1992, and there was like 8 or 9 guys that got drafted. I didn't get drafted. Tell our listeners what it was like for you on those 2 or 3 those days of the draft when your phone never rang.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were supposed to be the 3rd guy. That's crazy. That's wild. There's just so many emotions. I was fortunate to be around family, and so we kind of made it like a family reunion type deal. So I wasn't 100% focused on the draft. Obviously, we were watching and seeing what was happening. I think I had like a 4th round grade by 2 or 3 teams, and then everybody else was like somewhere between the 6th and 7th round. But I think there was no doubt from myself, my family, and my agent that I was going to get drafted somewhere. And so it's just, you watch and you're seeing all these guys, from like Southern Baptist State and all these small schools. You're like, bro, where the heck, where is this school? I've never even heard of this place. And so see all these guys get drafted, and you're like, man, this is crazy. And then when the draft is finally over, it's just, you're kind of like heartbroken in a way, like abandoned in a way. And then that period, as where the coaches are calling after the draft is over, and it's just like a 30-minute fury of all these teams, interested and who's going to give you what money, and who's on their roster and what do they plan to do with you, and it's just a bunch of craziness. So there's just so many emotions. I remember in the 6th or 7th round, I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. I got to go take a nap. Like I'm tired of watching all these dudes who you've never heard of in schools you've never heard of get drafted.
And so, as you said, once the draft ends, you get calls to be a free agent, and they offer you different types of money and the best situation. What made you decide to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, I honestly never looked at the roster of who they had. The thing that was different for Philly was that I actually talked to Chip Kelly himself, who was the head coach at the time, and all the other teams was more of like the tight end coach or maybe the offensive coordinator, but I never really spoke to the head coach. And so Chip made it pretty clear, that that he wanted me there. And so I was like, man, if he's going to give me a shout and he wants me, there as much as he says he wants me there, then I'm going to go try it out. And so I ended up being the 6th tight end on the training camp roster.
Yeah. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Trey Burton here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Yeah, so you're like the 6th tight end. They really probably didn't give you a whole lot of reps. You got to go over and play special teams. You're a blocking dummy. Just talk a little bit about what you had to do to make the roster.
Yeah, I remember I was fortunate, man. I had some really good dudes in the draft class that year, and I had a really, veteran tight end group that year. And so the second round draft pick, his name is Jordan Matthews, played wide receiver from Vanderbilt. He would be like, he would ask me like, "Hey, you want to do some extra?" And I'd be, "Yeah, let's get up in the morning early. Let's be the first people in the facility, and let's go catch jugs for 30 minutes before everybody even gets in there." So we would spend time, doing that every morning. I had that veteran. His name is James Casey. He was a tight end. He's now in Cincinnati as a tight end coach. He would stay after practice, like unheard of stuff. Like a guy that I'm competing with for a position on a team would stay after and teach me how to block. Where to put my hands. What am I looking at special teams wise? How do I hold a guy up on punt return? And so I spent hours with those dudes. I kind of connected myself at the hip with James Casey, and he was so like, I don't even know what the word is for that, but he was just so open to helping me out for some reason. And so my whole mindset the entire time was whatever reps I did get, because like you mentioned, you probably get 7 or 8 plays a whole entire practice. Whatever plays I do get, I need to make the most of them. I need to show that I'm fast. I need to show that I can catch. And then on special teams, like I have to capitalize on that. And then on top of that, there's 31 other teams out there. As much as I want to be in Philly and as much as I enjoyed my first, training camp there and all that, like at the end of the day, like when those preseason games come up, man, like there's 31 other teams. All I got to do is have one of them like me. And that's all I really cared about. And I really focused on that. I never really focused on, I'm the 6th tight end, I'll never be able to be here, or I'm the third depth on point on special teams. Like that stuff doesn't really matter necessarily. It's more about like, what are you putting on film? And shoot, I remember my first play on offense, we lined up in we called it Trey, where the tight end was by himself and 3 wide receivers on the opposite side of the ball. And I lined up on so it was quads, and you can't do that in the NFL. You have to have one guy on the ball on the left, one guy on the ball on the right. So the first play, like I was just so like messed up, mentally so excited, so much adrenaline. I lined up on the wrong damn side of the ball, like penalty. They couldn't even run the play. They threw a flag. And I'm like, man, what an idiot. But like after that, I kind of calmed myself down and just made sure that every chance I got, that I put good film out there for 31 other teams.
So obviously you win a Super Bowl with the Eagles, one of the most famous plays in Super Bowl history. Trey Burton hits Nick Foles on the Philly special. When you're in the huddle and they call that, did your heart start pounding?
No, what's funny, man, is it was 4th and 1. We called a timeout. Nick comes over to the sideline. I'm already on the sideline. I would stand behind my tight end coach and just ask him, what the play was, because I wasn't playing much offense at the time. And so they're arguing about, well, not arguing, but just talking about what play they want to run, right? And I remember like the referee blow the whistle like as they're going to start the play clock, 25-second play clock. So they start the play clock, and no one's in really the huddle except for the offensive lineman, and there's some trainers that they're kicking out of the huddle. And so I remember them start the play clock, and my coach like turns around and like grabs me on my shoulder and goes, Detroit. And that was the personnel, 2 tight end, Detroit. And I think he yelled Philly special, like as I was running away from him. But I didn't necessarily hear it. And then we got to the huddle. We only had like 18 seconds, and it's a long play, to really call in 18 seconds. And so I didn't really have much time to really think about it at all. I just remember getting the ball and getting the laces, and he was wide open.
Yeah, well, that was an awesome play, no question about it. So after Philly, you go play for the Chicago Bears. I was there for 7 years. Talk a little bit about your experience with the Bears.
It was different. It's just a whole different type of fans, a whole different environment. The city of Chicago and the city of Philadelphia are just completely opposite spectrums, where you have old historic, cobblestone roads in Philly, downtown Philly. It's just different, more blue collar. And in Chicago, you have like these brand new massive skyscrapers, wide roads, it's colder in Chicago, it snows more in Chicago. But no, I enjoyed my time in Chicago. It was tough. New head coach, young quarterback, all those types of things, growing pains. We did really well our first year, second year, not as well. I had a couple injuries in Chicago that kind of set a bad tone and a bad mood for my time there, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Then you get to go to play for the Indianapolis Colts, reunite with Frank Wright, who I believe was the offensive coordinator or quarterback coach when you were with the Eagles.
Yeah.
You got to play in the playoffs this year. Phillip Rivers, who was your quarterback, finally retired after 17 years. Talk a little bit about him, because I think I've only met him just, after games or whatever, but I love the way he plays. He's a fiery guy. A lot of people don't like him because I think he talks a lot of trash for a quarterback.
Oh, man, he does.
So talk a little bit about Phillip Rivers.
He does, man. Phillip's probably one of my favorite teammates I've ever played with. The dude is as competitive as you can possibly be. He's as smart as you could be from a quarterback standpoint. I remember we were playing, I forgot who we were playing last year, and he loves cadence. And you know how it is with this year, no fans in the stands. It doesn't matter if you're home or away. Your cadence is crazy. And so he's and he goes, they're cross-dogging, like the blitz cross-dog. And then he checks to our play that we wanted, whenever they're cross-dogging. But I'm standing on the sideline, and I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, he's calling out their damn blitzes, what they're going to do. He's telling them what they're doing, and they didn't have enough time to check out of it. But, man, like just how he was able to anticipate coverages, anticipate what the defense is trying to do to him. I mean, think of it, in 17 years, you'd think he has seen literally everything. And so it was funny, man, because he is fiery, but he was like, it was weird, man. Like he would show up pregame, like the latest you're allowed to show up, and just play ball, like put his pads on, not much warming up. Like you would think, that older guy would want to warm up a little bit more, but like whenever practice started, he'd be there, 5-10 minutes before practice started and just play ball basically. And so it was definitely a great experience with him.
So are you planning to be a Indianapolis Colt next year?
I'm a free agent this year, so we'll see.
Free agent. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Good deal. So who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Man, it's going to be tough to stop Kansas City, but I think Tampa will be able to do it. I hope they do. I live 6 minutes from the stadium, so I'm really excited. The city's excited, and it should be a good game.
Before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about the Gators. You're a tight end now. You weren't a tight end really in college, but your thoughts on Kyle Pitts, the tight end who's just a freak. How do you think he's going to translate to the next level?
I see a lot of Darren Waller in him. He's going to be unstoppable. I think he might be the highest tight end ever picked in the draft. I think no question, a top 10 draft pick. And I think he's going to be an instant game changer once he gets to the league. I hope that he surrounds himself with the right people. I hope that he stays connected and locked in, because you know how it is, man. It's easy. It doesn't matter who you are, bro. Once you get to that league and you start getting money, man, you never know what could happen. So I just hope that he has a good base, good foundation. I don't know him, so I can't really speak to what he's going to be like, or who he is as a person. But I hope that he surrounds himself with the right people.
You played for Coach Mullen when he was here before he left. I think you're pretty close to Coach Mullen, if I'm not mistaken. But just the job he's done in his 3 years. Obviously, the ending of this year didn't turn out the way we thought, but he still got the program headed in the right direction.
Man, it's been amazing and so much fun to watch. I'm so happy for him, his family, really all of Gator Nation. We're back where we should be from a competitive standpoint. I think obviously a couple more plays here and there against Alabama, and we're playing for the national championship, or at least in the college football playoff. And so I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I think we got to continue to recruit at a high level, figure out a way to find ourselves in the top 5 every single year. But man, we're right there. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the quarterback position. And I think Trask is one of the better ones that we've had here, in a while. And so obviously it all starts at the quarterback position. And so if we can get a stud or war daddy, like they like to call him, then I think we'll be right where we need to be.
Trey, are you involved in any type of charities or anything like that? I thought you were at one time. If you are, let our listeners know how they can get involved if possible.
Yeah, the organization that my wife and I do a lot of work with is called IJM, International Justice Mission. Their website is ijm.org. They're the largest anti-trafficking organization in the world, whether it's child trafficking, human trafficking, slave labor, online exploitation. They go and they end that in countries, and they've done it in a couple countries so far. They have about 15 to 18 field offices around the world. We go to the one in the Dominican Republic and the ones in Guatemala recently, the last 3 or 4 years. So we believe no child and no human should ever have to be forced to do something that they don't want to do and that they shouldn't be doing. And so that's kind of why we partnered with them.
That's good stuff, man. Last thing for you. Take the contracts out of it. Where would Trey Burton like to be catching balls next year?
I mean, dude, there's so many factors that go into all that. I mean, a dream scenario would be here in Tampa. Obviously I live so close to the facility and everything. But I would like to stay somewhere in the South. It's more about, how good, who's on the team, what are the chances of actually making the playoffs? Because once you make it to the playoffs, as you know, like you have a chance to win the Super Bowl. So that, and then also like my position coach, offensive coordinator, head coach, like all those things kind of play a factor into what team I'm going to go to. I'm not just going to go to the team that gives me the most money. I want to win. I'm at the end of my career and don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this for. And so I want to at least go out with a bang and enjoy my time while I'm doing it.
Did y'all play the Chiefs this year?
No, we played the Packers.
Did you play the Chiefs last year?
In Chicago, we might have.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, have you ever, you catch balls from quarterbacks. I think Mahomes is the most talented guy I've ever seen, the things he can do. But I've never seen him in person. And I didn't know if you'd seen him in person and think the same thing.
Yeah. He's as impressive as you can probably get from a quarterback. I like Aaron Rodgers too. Obviously Brady's up there as well. But Mahomes, just the way his arm angle, the way he's able to throw the ball, his releases, his knowledge of the game. The way if you hear it, they give him full control of the offense before every single play. He gives a dummy cadence and he's going to give you, we're good to run the play, or he's going to kill it to what he wants to run, or he'll check it to a different play. So just, you know how it is, man, the knowledge of this game, bro. If you're able to know what the defense is going to give you and what look they're trying to give you, then, you have a better opportunity to win.
Well, man, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck on finding your new team. Heck, maybe you'll be reunited with Urban. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Trey Burton. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. We're going to take our final time out of the program, come up and wrap up this Tuesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith Personal Injury Attorneys, Orange Theory Fitness, and Dowling Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios at Center State Bank. We put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida. Understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. Center State Bank, member FDIC. Really want to thank Buddy Martin for joining us, and obviously former Gator great Trey Burton joining the program. Make sure you follow us and like us, folks, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, special edition. Wayne Fields will be talking with Willie Jackson Sr. and Leonard George, 2 first African-American football players here at the University of Florida, talking about an endowment that is being set up to honor those 2 gentlemen. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.